with Team Nursify's webinar on the opportunities that lie ahead for you in the GCC belt. And I am specifically picking on Dubai right now. How is it that UAE can become your next go-to market? If you're a healthcare professional and you're looking forward to living a luxurious life and enjoying a good job overseas, UAE seems to be the next destination to explore. And just to talk about it, what are the opportunities there? What is life like at UAE? You are today getting to speak with certain names who are very familiar now in the market globally when it comes to healthcare recruitment, people who've been in the GCC belt living for a long time. I've invited them to talk to you about how the life can be in UAE. So joining me today, firstly, is none other than Mr. Chandamadan. And he's a known name and a familiar face for some of you who've been regularly joining us. But just a brief introduction for those who are probably seeing him for the first time. Mr. Chandamadan is a visionary leader and a driving force behind the eAge group. Now, for past 35 years, he's worn multiple hats. He's worked in the finance sector, strategy, marketing, technology, you name it, and he's been there. For past few years, he's been on the advisory board of Nursify, and today Nursify has reached a standard wherein we are a globally recognized brand, and not just in certain segment of the globe, but throughout. Today, our presence is in countries like UK, Canada, UAE, Australia, Singapore, GCC entirely. Now, if you think about healthcare and you think about recruitment, Nursify is the first name that will come up wherever you'll be discussing. So that's where we have reached with the help of Mr. Chandamadan. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Sakshi, and good afternoon, everyone.
Very good afternoon to you, sir. Now, along with him, as I told you, I have called in experts who are in the healthcare recruitment and particularly have belonged to the GCC belt for a long time. So joining me today is none other than Marie Sharmila, who is also playing the role of Global Business Head with Nursify. Just to let you know, Marie has spent a decent number of years already in the GCC belt. She comes with a great background. She's been an accomplished corporate trainer. She's worked in various sectors, such as customer care, business development. She's been taking a lot of leadership training. She's been part of aviation's training. So she comes with a wealth of knowledge and background for us. And specifically being an expert at the GCC belt today, she'll be sharing her experiences of how settling down in UAE can be like. Thank you so much for joining us, Marie.
Thank you very much, Sakshi, for the introduction.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you. And I'm quite excited and about letting you know that today, not only I have these experts from Team Nursify who are joining us, but we have a healthcare nurse from the healthcare segment joining us right from GCC. So you will get to interact with today Annie, and Annie is a nurse who's been part of the GCC healthcare force for a very long time. And Annie has, just to give you a quick background, I'm talking about Annie Fernandez, and Annie today plays the role of a healthcare quality manager with Aquara Aesthetic Medical Center in UAE. She's also on the panel of judges at the Philippine Nurses Association, the UAE chapter. She's been in UAE for about 40 years and comes with about 43 plus years of healthcare experience. So she's got a lot on her CV, a lot of accomplishments on her resume, but I can't summarize all of it, but we'll get to hear it directly from her mouth, how it is to be part of UAE's healthcare belt now. Thank you so much for joining us, Annie. You're there?
Yes, Annie will be joining in a second, so you can carry on, yeah?
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. We'll have Annie in a couple of seconds with us. All right, so I know my team is very, very excited. Thank you so much, judges, my experienced guests, for being here to talk to us about the opportunities in GCC belt. Now, Nursify has been working for way too long in various parts of the world, any which way. So we understand the need of healthcare staff. Everyone, every country is searching for more and more polished healthcare staff to come work with them. But then I think to throw much more light on it, I would like to first ask my question to you, Chanda sir. Please let us know that, what is since you've been extensively working in this domain for too long now and guiding Nursify to reach these heights, what is the story like globally? I mean, what is the demand of the healthcare staff worldwide? And if specifically you can cover the GCC belt.
Sure. Thanks, Sakshi, and welcome, Annie and Marie. So I think if you look at the whole, global demand for healthcare workers, especially nurses, as I travel and meet a lot of customers, I think there is a shortage of 10 million nurses worldwide. Let's put it that way. Okay, give and take few million here and there. Okay, 10 million for those who come from Indian subcontinent is 1 crore. Okay, 1 crore nurses are in shortage of supply worldwide. And if you look at any of the countries, especially the Western countries itself, is about 7 million nurses shortage, okay, that we see. So whenever I meet hospitals, whenever I meet any of the healthcare institutions who have requirement for nurses, I hear a consistent story that there is a shortage of healthcare staff or nurses. For example, in NHS in UK, although we're talking about Dubai today, but if you look at NHS in UK, and there are long queues of patients, but there aren't enough nurses to take care of. I was meeting a friend in Singapore last week, and he was saying that he was about to go through an appendix operation, okay, but he couldn't go through, or he couldn't get a room in time, not because there wasn't enough rooms in the hospital, but there weren't enough nurses in the hospital. So I think shortage of nurses can be as fatal, and the examples can be as real as this. This was an old friend. I was talking to him, 25-year-old friend, and I was talking to him, and this was getting very, very real. So all across the world, there is a huge demand for nurses. Whether you take it in Western markets like US, UK, Australia, Canada, or you look at regions like Dubai and GCC, I think there is the whole Gulf belt, I think, require nurses more than ever. And that's why we chose the topic of GCC today. But I think fundamentally, in short, there is a huge demand for nurses all across the world. And wherever, to give you another example, whenever I go and meet the hospitals, I consistently hear shortage of nurses. And whether it is in Dubai or Singapore or UK or US, as I said, the demand is very, very clear. 10 million nurses shortage. And all of you who are the experts in this space certainly will know how much you are in demand. And Annie, who's online today, has spent 4 decades in just GCC alone, so she will probably talk more about this. I met Annie back in October last year, and since then I've met her a couple of times, and I've been on the phone with her. But every time I meet her, she'll tell me new things about the nursing and how important it is. And I think nobody else is better positioned than Annie to talk about what is it to work in GCC, because she spent most of her life in GCC itself. But long and short, huge demand. And if you are an experienced nurse looking to venture out abroad, start packing your bags.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing light on it. And I completely agree. That's the reason why Nursify is getting in demand so much. And we are working with nurses all across. But yes, Dubai is the next go-to destination, and that's the target we'll be discussing. Now, on that note, thank you so much, Annie. I think you're there. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes. Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. So
Thank you.
nice meeting you all here.
Very good afternoon to you, Annie. We are very excited to ask you quite a few questions, but before I get to you, just setting the context for everyone about the requirement in the GCC belt for healthcare. So as Chandra has been mentioning that throughout the world, there is a high demand for healthcare professionals, and they're more than happy to recruit overseas nurses, right? Chandra, if one more question, I may turn it again on you. Is there any specific country from where the GCC belt is specifically hiring from, or are they open to nurses from wherever globally?
Yeah, actually here in the GCC, it is all open for all nationalities. So whether you are Filipino, you are Western, you are from the Asian country, they are all open. So most especially, as everybody knows, I'm proud to say that it's more on the Filipinos around the world that they are looking for. So most of the nationalities, number one is Filipinos here. So second, of course, on the top level, so every nationalities of different Western countries. But Filipinos, Indians, and yeah, so we are the first and the second, been recommended for all nurses, not only here in the GCC, but I may say it's around the world.
Yeah. Very rightly said, Annie. And I think just to add to Annie's point, I think GCC is such a place where you'll always feel at home. So if you come from Philippines, you'll always find a lot of Filipinos around you. If you're from India, you see that people are speaking in Hindi, and in Dubai itself as an idea. Okay, if you're from Sri Lanka, you'll find enough people speaking in Sinhalese, right? So I think it's a place which is a global cosmopolitan hub. Okay, and all the nationalities are welcomed. Okay, I won't pick anyone, but of course, the usual preferred ones are the Filipinos and the Indians, but in that order of priority, I would say. But I think most Filipinos and most Indians of any nationality for that matter, there's enough enough in Dubai, in UAE, to be cherished. For example, as I said, if you're Indian, even if you're vegetarian, you're craving for Indian food, you will find that in Dubai, and you will have people speaking in Hindi as well. So I think it's like a polished home away from home, if I may call it that way, for many people. And as I was mentioning earlier, all the nationalities are welcome, and especially I've seen people even from Kenya, from Philippines, from India, and the new breed, that's probably a new set of people who are coming in there more are from Eastern Europe as an idea, Poland, Russia, and Hungary, and some of the other markets. But I think the place is so welcoming that it will embrace all nationalities without any discrimination, of course, right? So so if you are again looking to settle there, it's one of the best places. And I'll talk about some of the benefits as well of going to Dubai and UAE for that matter. But yeah, short answer, as Annie said, all the nationalities are welcome.
Well, that's great news for quite a few of our participants, because I think the time that you were talking, sir, a lot of them have started thinking, okay, I come from Philippines and I come from Trinidad and this place and that place. So that's great. A lot of you still have opportunity in Dubai, and Dubai is more than happy to have people from various backgrounds to come and work with them. Amazing. That's good to hear, sir. Now, Marie, if I can get your view, because people are so excited, I'm sure, to talk to you and Annie, since you've been there in the GCC belt for a way too long a time, right? So from your experience, Marie, right? A few questions being routed to you for the knowledge of my audience. What are the types of medical facilities available in Dubai, and how do they cater to the diverse healthcare needs of the population there?
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a great question. So before I go into that question, so this is like my 13th of almost like 14th year in the GCC. So we are now in Dubai, 1.5 years. The rest I spent in Qatar. So when you, like Mr. Chanda mentioned, the Gulf, I mean UAE, let's take UAE. It's a country, you have 90 to 95% are expats and the rest are Emirates. So since from the time you land, and most of the time, especially when you migrate to another country, you will feel homesick for a while because you're away. But here, from the time you land, you will meet your own nationality or someone within 1 hour, or within a day, you will be able to explore and you will be very comfortable, in the surroundings, because you will find different nationalities. And because of this culture, there's so many nationalities, about 120 nationalities living under one roof. So the respect for each nationality is there. So that's one of the reasons that you will always feel welcomed and you will find your community. And so in UAE, there are 7 Emirates. So all the 7 Emirates, the hospitals are there, right? When we talk about healthcare facilities, but majority, the main 2 Emirates are Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and then the Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Ajman, Fujairah, Al Qain. So these are the Emirates. So now Abu Dhabi and Dubai has the highest number of the hospitals and the facilities. If you're talking about the medical facilities, now I come from an aviation background where I got the privilege of traveling around the world and seeing the facilities of the other hospitals in different countries like Europe, Africa to America to South America, Asia, and everything. So I am able to see the comparison. Here, recently, I actually attended to this Arab Health. Is one of the biggest healthcare exhibitions in the world. It's every year you have it here. So when I went there, so that Arab Health exhibition that showcased the facilities of what the UAE can offer. So I was amazed, and I could say the best of the practices, the AI technology, to even the machinery, to everything, what the premium version of every facility, you can find it here. And the hospitals also fully fledged facilities. Even now, if a healthcare comes here to work, they get a chance of exploring these, working with this international staff and working with these machineries and working with this extraordinary hospital settings where they cannot find in their home country. So I think not only they find a job opportunity over here, they will be exposed to the new technology, and as well as the working with the other nationalities as well. So in a nutshell, this is what I can tell you about in terms of the facilities. It's to you cutting edge technology. You can find it from any hospital. And here, the public hospitals, the government hospitals, and you can actually add a little bit onto that, because they are at now usually when it comes to a private hospital versus the government hospitals in the other countries, usually the private hospital seems to have more facilities in a better view, but here the private public hospitals, there's no difference. They have the best of facilities. Even for the staff, they will offer everything what they can offer for the healthcare staff over here.
Wow, that's very, very reassuring to hear. So Dubai doesn't seem like anything apart from the other countries in UK and other countries, if I may compare, to the medical facilities, as you're mentioning, usage of AI, the most advanced medical technology, everything is available in Dubai as well, right? As you mentioned. So but if I am to compare, and talk about the cost of living in Dubai, would you like to talk about that a little? Because all those people who are right now with us planning to come to Dubai, the very first question also comes to their mind is, how's the stay like? Would I be able to afford it? What my life would be like there? So some light on that, please.
Okay, so when it comes to it's a very broad question. So I will try to give the justice as much as possible for this question. So when it comes to cost of living, that actually comes with the background of the person and the person where the geographical area where they are migrating for. The reason is the cost of living can vary because accommodation prices can vary for, first of all, Emirates states to Emirates states. So Dubai is the most expensive. So likewise. And also now we'll talk about now Annie is in Abu Dhabi. Annie will be able to give a glimpse of Abu Dhabi. I'm in Dubai, so I can tell about Dubai. So even in Dubai, if you talk about Dubai, so we'll say the rental prices, so it varies, you know. So most of the now let's focus on the healthcare sector. All the healthcare sector, the staff, they are given the accommodation. All the public sector workers are given. If it's the private sector, they will be given an allowance because the accommodation and insurance is a must. So it will be given. So once you get now either you stay in the staff accommodation or decide to move out, it's according to your taste, you can choose whether you're gonna, rent a villa or a premium flat in the cosmopolitan area or a little away. So it can vary and you can have any lifestyle, but all in all, I can say quality of life is there because since it's all the nationalities are living under one roof. When it comes to food item, if you're an Indian, if you're craving for Indian food, you got plenty of Indian cuisine. And not only that, you're able to explore the other cuisine as well. You're a Filipina, you can select the Filipina restaurants. And even that restaurants, you can get the one dish worth of 1,000 dirhams to 7 dirhams. So that's kind of a variety. You can choose how you want to dine and how you want to live. So all in all, I can say it's a quality of life is there. And if you know how to budget yourself, and you can live a decent life over here without any doubt. Annie can actually add something about that as well, right, Annie?
Yeah, of course. So it's different, as you said, different from Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So as we know, everybody, are talking about living in Dubai is a little bit higher up than living in Abu Dhabi. So, but basically all of what we can have, like for example, in the mall, for the foods, for the restaurants, it is almost the same. We have what everything is in Dubai, and what we have also are here in Abu Dhabi. So you can find in both places. So living in Abu Dhabi is a little bit, I should say I am comfortable living in Abu Dhabi because I'm here for my whole life, as in 40 years. So I can say that Abu Dhabi is better than Dubai for me. So that like Marie is going to tell that it is better. Dubai is better than Abu Dhabi, right? So, what I can say is living here in Abu Dhabi as well as in Dubai, it is very comfortable zone for us. So all nationalities, all people who are coming and working here, especially in the healthcare, they find that Abu Dhabi is, more better, as I say, because I'm here. So better for me than in Dubai.
Yes, I concluded just like that. So everybody's comfort zone can be somewhere else. I know there are families who are comfortable living in Sharjah, living in Ajman because they have found the workplace over there. So it depends. But the beauty of it changing one state to another, it can be overnight decision. You can choose to live. Okay, you can try the other Emirates as well. So yeah, so that's what I have to tell about the cost of living and the living cost in Dubai.
Sure. So I think just to add, perspective from a numbers finance perspective, right? So one, of course, Dubai is the most happening hub of of the world, if I would call it that way, right? And right from the tourism to nightlife to everything, I think it's like the great place to be in. And I can tell you because we look at a lot of other cities as we travel, and I used to tell people Dubai is a more vibrant version of Singapore as an idea. I think, and the recent visits just confirmed that one more time. But coming to cost of living, I think if you really want to live, if you like a party life or a life with a lot of happening, I think Dubai is the best place. Of course, you'll end up saving less. As Marie said, uh, there is space for everybody, like you see in India, Delhi, and Mumbai. You know, you can find a place to shared accommodation as low as 1,000 dirhams to as expensive as 5,000 dirham for single person, right? In Dubai. So, and the food is generally, I would say, pretty much. We looked at some data yesterday, and I think the food, grocery, etc., is pretty much same as any of the metro cities in India, for example. So I think if I look at, if I compare this to Gurgaon, for example, Delhi NCR, Dubai is probably about the same level as Delhi NCR, apart from housing, of course, right? The rest of the expenses are probably about the same. But if you are going to a foreign country, and of course you're wanting to save money, right? So in the order of priority, I would say Dubai, probably you'll be able to save less, but of course salaries are also higher. Two, if you go to Abu Dhabi, as Annie said, it's a little bit more economical. So from a numbers point of view, Abu Dhabi will be about 15% cost less than Dubai. Something that costs $100 in or dirham in Dubai will cost 85 in Abu Dhabi. And if you go further north, right, Sharjah is about half of what Dubai costs are. So if you're really looking to save a lot of money with the same amount of salary, okay, go to Sharjah. And if you go further up north, Ajman and Ras Al Khaimah and Fujairah, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Marie.
Yes.
These places have costs which is 1/3 of Dubai. Okay, so if you want to save more money, go to these places. Of course, the life will be a little different in these Emirates, and you got to make the call what is important for you. If you are with the family, I highly recommend be in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. But if you are single and want to maximize your saving, go towards the new Northern Emirates, which is Ajman, Ras Al Khaimah, and Fujairah as well. So I hope this gives you a perspective.
Of course it does. And thank you so much for all three of you to contribute from your experiences. And I believe, Chanda, so you're a resident too, right? So you also know it than anyone else. How much does it cost? But then, yes, the luxury that you guys are talking about that, the entire UAE belt has to offer. I mean, when you compare to that kind of a luxurious lifestyle, everyone wants to be there, right? So, Marie, if I may ask, what did you find, according to you, as the most attractive thing or a couple of things about Dubai or about Abu Dhabi, which attracts healthcare professionals to just come there and live that kind of life? How would you explain how Dubai's experience is?
I think I can answer that within one sentence. Whether it's to Abu Dhabi has the most amount of the cutting edge technology hospitals as well. As you know, the PO Healths, most of the hospitals are acquired in the Abu Dhabi. And I have walked into those hospitals as well, Dubai as well as Abu Dhabi. And, I managed to go to one hospital in Ajman as well. From when you enter, you don't, I can compare because I've been to the other part of the world as well. It's the atmosphere to, for a patient to the comforting level to the attendance to and how organized there. You don't have to wait for queues and queues in the like the other countries. If the doctor is supposed to arrive at a certain time, doctor will be there on time. So this is on time appointments, on time surgeries are scheduled in a certain time. There won't be delays. But these kind of delays, I can say that Indian subcontinental, especially in where I come from and all, there are delays. Patients have to wait. And here the patients are respected. You're the priority. Everybody will attend to you. So that is something I can tell you. As a patient, you are really well looked after. As a staff, you are well looked after by the management as well. And as a staff, you will be given all the facilities to work. Basically, your lifestyle, wherever you have worked before, will be level up. Either Abu Dhabi or in Dubai or any as a healthcare. I think Annie can tell as well, because she can compare being a nurse in the home country versus living here. It's definitely a level up for the staff, as well as it's a comfort for the patients as well. So it just gives the wow factor at the end of the day.
I completely agree with it because, I have seen the kind of medical facilities which are there. I mean, we get to see them more in videos. I haven't been fortunate enough to travel, but then we see their class apart. So those who are joining us from various parts of the country, particularly from India and other developing countries, I must say that, when we look at Dubai, the wow factor definitely kicks in, as Marie mentioned. But Annie, I'd like to hear from you now. I mean, of course, because of the immense experience that you have, and you've been practicing nurse there for so long. I mean, let's start with something very simple, something that most of the audience today will be able to relate with. Annie, if you could tell me, talk about a typical day in your life as a nurse in Dubai.
Yeah, actually, I am a resident of Abu Dhabi. So I only stayed here in Abu Dhabi for almost 40 years now, 40 years to be exact. Okay, and I was in a government hospital most of my life for 25 and a half years. And as a hospital nursing director up to the director of nursing. So the typical day of a nurse working in the hospital. So you will start as in like meeting with your nurses. That's the first thing that we do here. Secondly, it will be the handover. So everybody knows handovering a patient is the details, the very critical details of a patient. And right after that, we need to assess the patient, and then we will take care of the planning of the care and the activities that we perform all the procedures after that. And by the end of the day, so we will have again our meeting and to give hand over to the coming nurses for the whole day's affair that we have done. So this is the typical day of a nurse in the hospital.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Annie. I mean, that gives us a good insight of how any of these nurses who have joined us today, their life is going to be in Abu Dhabi. Now, but when a nurse travels all the way, or anyone travels, for their work purposes abroad, there are certain unique challenges that one might face. And yes, let's talk about from healthcare perspective only. Any challenges that you feel that people face when they try to move to the UAE belt and then settle there?
Yeah, the number one challenge is that we are talking about the healthcare. It's about the patient safety anywhere in the world. So we are dealing with the patient safety. Safety of the patient first. It is the goal of every nurses in a healthcare facility. So this will give us a unique challenge for every nurse. So we want our patient, once they are in our care, so we will assure that the patient is being taken care for in a very safe manner. And another thing is those difficult patients that we are encountering every day. So we are going to take care of what might harm there. So we are going to improve our patient care in our performance of daily activities so that the patient will not have any difficulties, or vice versa. The nurses will not have any difficulties in taking care of them. So these are like, the uniqueness of the challenges that we wanted to secure our patient safety every day, every time that we are, encountering with them. So the biggest is the patient safety. We don't want the patient at risk when we are during the care of the patient itself.
That's great. Of course, patient safety, patient is the central point for any of the healthcare professions today. I think we all are focused on ensuring their safety and their care plan is well taken care of. And that should be on the top of the list for any nurse to work there. Now, most of these hospitals in the UAE belt, as I hear, they have some very good benefits that they do extend to the nursing staff who work with them. So from your experience, what are those additional add-ons or the extra care that the hospital extends towards its own staff, its nurses who are working with them?
So at the very first, we have here the PQR, we are calling it the PQR, to add up to these benefits. So the salaries of a nurse starts with the clinical bedside staff nurse. So with this clinical bedside staff nurse, so we will be requiring our academics, our education, plus the experiences, and that equals to the salary they are going to get. So every level, so like for example, if you are on the level of the head nurses, that will be a level up, higher than the clinical staff nurse. So the salary and the benefits will be different. So for the charge nurses or the head nurses, so it starts with the benefit of like housing, but everyone has housing accommodation. It depends on how much they are required to be given for each level of your position. Like for the nurses, for example, so they will be given like 70,000 per month for the accommodation. Wherein for the the head nurses, they will be given around 80 to around 90. And then for the supervisor, it will be 90 to 100. So it depends. Okay, so it depends on the level of their positions and designation. So the other benefits, we were privileged of, they give us the privilege of having the yearly ticket or the annual ticket that we are getting. So if they are going to give you the ticket that is only like, being paid for your ticket to go back to your original country, but you wanted to go to different countries, so you have to add up. Like for example, they will give you 5,000 dirhams. That will be like around 2,000, less than $1,500. So if you wanted to go to Europe, so it's going to be additional from your side. But they are going to give you definitely a yearly ticket. So if you wanted to go for, two times a year, so you are going to be paid for one half, like 6 months, and the other 6 months, you are going to give it from your own. So we have also the benefit, like the privilege to get our vacation or the annual leave. So the annual leave is being given to the nurses according also to the titles or the position that they are having. Like for example, for the staff nurse, so they will be given a 30 days leave, but if during the time of the holidays, you are going to have like holidays, you are not going to have it on the same day of the holidays, so you will be given another due accrued leave that it will be added to your annual leave. So either the privilege is you can get your annual leave as in like full cash, or you can get it as in your paid leave at the end of your vacation or annual leave. So those are the privileges, and some others like the government, so they are giving also the allowances for education of their children. So it starts from being a head nurse. So from your head nurse position, they will be giving you, allowance for the children's education. So we have also furniture allowance to be given once a year. We have a pre-transport if you are living in a little bit distance from your home. So all of these are the benefits and privileges that we are getting from government and some of the private. It depends on the facility.
Sure. So I think just to add to Annie's point, let me add the cherry on the cake. Okay, she had already offered a platter, right? The most important point in addition to this is it's all tax free. You don't have to pay any income tax.
Yes, yes.
And
Yes,
and
exactly. All the other
know,
countries, yes.
so all the other countries you have, if you look at taxes across the world, it's between 15 and 30%. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you get the complete salary without paying any tax, and that's a very, very
Yes.
beautiful cherry on the cake. Okay,
Mm.
and makes it very, very interesting place for any nurse to go there. And as Annie said, if you get education free, if you get housing free, if you get meal free, you get transportation free, what else are we looking for, right? So
Yes.
pretty much everything is done, right? Yeah. Thanks, Annie.
Yes,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you so much for sharing that insight. Definitely, Annie. And so listening to these goody brownie points, I think it any which ways excites people to be there. Because that means, you're enjoying luxury and still without the
Yes.
government charging and taking anything out of your pocket. So which is good, which is amazing and very reassuring. One more
Yeah.
question, Annie, the last one for you. When the nurses come and work in the UAE belt, do the hospitals take interest in their career development also? Are they exposed to further trainings and enhanced learning to grow up the ladder? Could you throw a little light on that, please?
Yes. So all of the nurses in the healthcare, not only nurses, all healthcare providers. So we are giving a mandatory educational training. Mandatory means, number one, we need to have a valid certification for the training of the basic life support for the basic individual healthcare providers. So we have also like ladderized. If you are in a special units, so you will be given the ACLS or the Advanced Life Support Saving course. So we have also here what mandated from the Department of Health is our CME. We have the continuing medical education for the doctors and the other healthcare professionals. So with the CNE, the continuing nursing education. So all of these got a points with the hours you are going to attend to. And with these hours, it will be, it will be equal to how many requirements for you able to renew your license per year. So it is really mandatory, and not only for that. So the Department of Health is giving us like every 3 months, there are this professional education training online. So it is also certification, and even for those specialized like nursing, special positions like those diabetic nursing, wound care nurse. So all of those, they are given, special training education also.
That's great.
Yes.
Not only that, whatever qualifications these people may come with and come to UAE, they will get to enhance and upgrade themselves. And
Yes.
yes, the hospitals are taking a lot of interest in ensuring that they continue to develop and grow. That's very, very reassuring. Thank you so much for that, Annie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Now, taking up a few questions now that a lot of people are interested and they have a lot of questions typically about, what are the qualifications of a nurse required to move to, Dubai or in the UAE belt. Chanda, sir, would you like to take up a few questions to clarify the requirements? So the first one, yes.
You're on mute, Sakshi.
I believe, yes, somebody muted me by mistake. Okay, so yeah, we are talking about the qualification criteria to get to UAE for a nurse from any of the places. So.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, it is better, I could advise, we have the online from the Department of Health. You can just go online, and through the website, you will just type the DOH unified PQR, means to say the professional qualification requirements. So when you go in there, you will find all those requirements. So it depends on what is your, like, for example, we nurses, we have a special space in there. So you will find the education, what are the requirements for the education, what are the requirements for your experiences, and, like, for example, the positions that you are going to apply for. So it is better for, like, I'm advising everyone to just visit the website of DOH and go through the PQR. So that PQR is a unified for Dubai, the Department Health, DHA, Department Health, Dubai Health Authority, and the Department of Health Abu Dhabi, and the Ministry of Health for the federal. So all of them, it is included in that unified PQR. So
Sure.
they can just visit that PQR.
Sure. Yeah, so I think if you're looking at a 2-minute primer or a 30 seconds primer on this, very simple thing. You need to be BSc or GNM nursing, right? Number one. Number two, you need to have minimum of 2 years of experience. You need to be registered with your nursing council, whether you're coming from India or Philippines or wherever, with your local council. And you need to have the, like Marie said, BLS and ACLS certification, which most nurses would usually have, to the best of my knowledge. No IELTS required. That's a good news. No IELTS is required for Dubai, right? So if you have failed your IELTS or haven't scored 7 in IELTS, Dubai is a place for you to go. And I think definitely you need the, as Marie said, the local license, the Dubai Health Authority or DHA or DOH license, as whichever jurisdiction you go for. So the only additional information or license you need is the local DOH or DHA license. Apart from that, your basic qualification that you already have should work for, Dubai or UAE in general. If you do not have DHA or DOH license, and if you need help, our partner company eAgeTutor will provide training, and you can reach out to the team at hello@Nursify, and we'll be very happy to train you guys as well.
Can I follow up? Can I
Sure.
just add some more? So regarding the license of each nurses, so it depends. You are going to get your license if you are going to work in a Dubai.
Yes.
Dubai Health Authority, it will be licensed as Dubai Health Authority. So
Yes.
if you wanted to come to Abu Dhabi, so there is a license for the DOH. So
Yes.
that will be converted to DOH. You cannot work to Dubai if your license is DOH. It should be converted. So if you want to go for federal, like Sharjah, the Ras Al Khaimah, and the rest of the Northern Emirates, so you can get the license for the Ministry of Health. So wherever you are, your license should be according to the place of work. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Yeah.
Sure. Perfect. I think that's pretty much clear how to get registered. And as Anne said, you have to be taking the registration according to the place where you're planning to work, whether it is Dubai, whether it is Abu Dhabi. And the best part that Chandra sir just mentioned, so if you guys have not cleared your IELTS and you still wanted to work abroad, well, Dubai or UAE belt seems to be the belt for you. You should go enjoy luxury and still earn such good benefits. So I think it's all plus points for Dubai, definitely. But sir, one more question for you in specific. When we're talking about the UAE belt, and as Marie mentioned, there are all kind of hospital setups available, right? But when they're comparing to the private healthcare hospitals to the government ones, right? Would you like to throw a little light on, when these healthcare professionals are moving from the world to UAE belt, should they be looking at private or should they be looking at the government setup? What would you suggest?
See, to be frank,
Okay. Yes, sir.
yeah, I was just going to add, maybe Annie can throw more light on this, but I think usually the level of hospitals I've seen in UAE, whether it's Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or any of the Emirates, I think are world class. And unlike Indian subcontinent, where government hospitals can be a little bit lower in the rank, honestly, I think any hospitals in these developed markets like Dubai will be as posh as a private hospital you will see. I mean, both are comparable. That would be my suggestion. But I'll let Annie add more to it because I think she's lived the life there, so maybe she can add more.
Yeah, okay. So from the government side, so I can say, so because I worked longer for 25 and a half years, I was in a government hospital here in Abu Dhabi. So actually this hospital that I work with is the first tertiary referral hospital in the UAE that time. So I started in 1983 and that was the only, referral hospital here in the UAE. So all the areas, all the state of UAE, all patients are coming from those areas and they are bringing them in Abu Dhabi Government Hospital. This government hospital provided us with our accommodation. Number one is the housing. Government, I'm talking about. So they are giving us a government housing accommodation. So it depends on how many children you will have accordingly, and you will get how many bedrooms for the family. If like, for example, you have one child up to two children, you will get 2 bedrooms. So if you will be getting 3 children and more, you will be entitled for a 3 bedrooms apartment, a 3 bedrooms flat. Okay, so if that will be accommodation, but if you are going to have like, just you will take it for some percentage only, the government will be giving you only 60%. It's not the full accommodation. So better to get the housing accommodation instead, right? So aside from the accommodation, we have also the furniture allowance annually. So they are giving you the basic salary of each nurse according to the position. Okay, so what else is there for the benefits you will get? As I told you, we have the education for the children. It starts when you are a head nurse. From the head nurse and above, it depends also on how much and how is the position you are holding in the hospital. Okay, so what else is there? So for the government, we are privileged to get entitled for an airline ticket. So especially it includes for the wife and the children, so below 18 years old. That is annual. Okay, but in the private, there is nothing like that. So in the private, if you are getting like for a staff nurse, you are getting at least $2,000 per month. That is a net for everything. That includes your food, your accommodation, your housing, your everything is in there. So that is the difference between the government and the non-government. Okay, so it depends on the nurses where they wanted to choose. But mostly nurses who are coming here, they are going to the government hospitals because of these benefits. Okay, so that's all I can share.
Thanks,
Sure.
Annie.
Sure. So, Annie, as Annie mentioned, all the benefits to you guys, any which ways, right? So I think with that, we do cover your basic understanding. We have already shared with you what are the qualification, what are the examinations that you need to clear, how, according to Abu Dhabi or Dubai, where you need to be working, you have to register and get their license. And our team is always available on the standby in case you're confused and some of the people are asking, where do I go for DOH license and all? We will help you. We will guide you. That's why we are connecting with you today. Now, and any other queries, like, you want to get prepared for your interview skills and all, we have our partners eAgeTutor to help you on that. Now, quickly covering some of the key questions which have been coming in the chat box, though our team has almost addressed most of them. But just to quickly throw a little bit of light on, a lot of people who are trying to move abroad, they have queries about moving out with their family, with their spouse and their children, right? So with their dependents. So is it okay to move in the very first shot? Can they carry their dependents along, or do they have to wait for a while and then bring them over? How does it work in the UAE belt?
So I think
So,
go ahead, Annie. Sorry.
yes, sir, it's okay.
Yeah, to
You
the best
go
of my knowledge, you can bring your dependents along. No, not an issue. And just as a point of comparison, so I think dependents definitely you can bring along. Not an issue. Unlike UK, where if you are going as a healthcare assistant, you can't take your dependents anymore. Starting yesterday, which is 12th of April, the rules change. But I think Dubai would welcome all dependents and a very, very welcoming place from family point of view. Secondly, I think if you look at, I'm not sure many of you understood the text point I was trying to make, the cherry, the real cherry on the cake. I think if you compare salaries between UK and Dubai, apple to apple comparison, okay? Take home pay in Dubai or UAE is about 15 to 17% more than UK. I know this will come as a surprise to a lot of people, but the median salaries after tax, because in UK you end up paying 20% tax. In Dubai and UAE is about 15 to 20% better than UK as well. So I think you can take your dependents with you and you have sufficient money to take them around, do sightseeing, take your kids to amusement park, and yet save more money than you would save in UK. Annie, you want to add something?
Yeah, so the same way that you were talking about. So for these people, like, the nurse itself, herself or himself who is coming to Abu Dhabi, they are not coming with the family at once. So normally they are coming maybe 1 to 3 months ahead, and then later on the family, because they are going to prepare and complete all the necessary documents from the housing. So they are going to prepare for the visa and everything before the family will come over. So only that I can add with that.
Sure. Thank you.
Sure. And adding on to that, there is one more query that people always had about the age limit. So when we are talking about UAE belt, is there an age limit restriction to move there?
Yes. So because number one, the retirement, we have the retirement age here. So it is 55, and then most is 60. So 55 and 60 is the retirement age. So hiring of these nurses, so it will be at least starting from as young as 25 up to 50, maybe 45 to 50. But it depends also in home care. They have done it to, I believe it's 35. So because it's difficult for them to take care of the patients, right? So they are just putting on the limit of the age.
Sure. And are we also open to healthcare assistants? There are a lot of healthcare assistants who are pinging us today. We are open to have a place for them as well.
Yeah, I think so. So there is. We just signed up with a care home recently in Al Ain and Abu Dhabi. So certainly, if there are people who want to go as SCAs, definitely. Um, of course, the other options like registered nurses are open as well, and very soon. So we have just signed up with recently with Iranian hospital that requires both SCAs and registered nurses. So yeah, both the options are open.
Okay, that's great. That answers a lot of people who've been pinging us on that. One more question, if I may take, if either one of you can address, what about the work permit for the spouse? What's the procedure and does it take time for them to become functional?
Any you want to take that?
Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, the question is about spouse work permits. So when people move with their dependents, so they're pretty interested in understanding what is the process of getting a work permit for their spouse.
So if the nurse, like for example, the nurse has the position of a clinical staff nurse, so she will be or he will be able to take the spouse under their visa, and the spouse can work under the husband visa or a wife's visa, which nowadays they are able to work. So there is no problem for them as long as they are like they have this what do you call this one, educational background experiences, and they will be able to work also.
Okay, that's great. And adding on to the same question coming from one of the nurses, probably she's also asking if they have a kid who's 18 and above, would they be allowed to tag along?
Okay, so for those over 18 as adult, so they are not going to be under the sponsorship of any of these visa holder. Like the mother who is working as a nurse could not sponsor any of her children, like for the males only of over 18. But if the female, like a daughter, so as long as the daughter is not married, so she can be sponsored. Okay, so the mother can or the father can sponsor only unmarried, daughter of any age, as long as they are not married.
That's not fair. The boys are not allowed, is it?
Yes. So only they stayed under 18.
Okay.
So to be able to be under their sponsorship. Other
Sure.
than that, they could look for a work, or if they want to continue to study, the government has the opportunity to give the educational program, and they will be under their sponsorship.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing that information again, Annie. I feel that I think we've covered most of the questions that even our audience were asking. The rest, dear audience, my counselors have been constantly trying to get in touch with you and connect with you, share with you their contact details. Please ask the rest of the details to my counselors. They'll be more than happy to assist you as to what is the procedure. If there are any other key questions, you guys can still type in. We would like to address them separately. But I think I've taken more than the block time of my esteemed guests. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you so much, Annie Fernandez, for being there. I think you've literally shown the life of a nurse in the UAE to everyone, and they're super excited and charged up. I'm you directly. Thank you so much for all the knowledge that you shared with us. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much, Marie. You come with an immense experience yourself in the GCC belt. So thank you so much for your contribution towards this webinar. And I can't thank enough Mr. Chandamadan. He's always there from Team Nursify, trying to let people know healthcare today is running after Nursify, because we are happy to say that we're so happily placing in most of the parts of the world a lot of nurses. But UAE seems to be the next go-to place, right? So thank you,
Yes.
Chandu sir, for sharing your insights on
Yeah.
UAE today.
Thanks, Akshay, and thanks, Annie, and thanks, Murray.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks,
You're
everyone,
welcome.
for joining, and have a great weekend. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.